All right, welcome back, everybody. My name is John Crable, lead instructor for Principles of Business, also assistant professor here in Business Management and Entrepreneurship. We've reached the last learning unit, right? We're on learning unit 5 at this point in time, and we've talked about the global business environment. We've talked about entrepreneurship. We've talked about HR and management. We've talked about marketing. Now we got to get into the numbers. Now we got to get into accounting and finance and go into depth on all the information in this course on those topics. So a couple things, chapter 17, 18, and 19 in your book. Writing assignment 3 is going to focus heavily on financial ratios. So you can go to our classroom writing assignments and check out writing assignment 3. And as always, make sure you do your Connect assignments early in the learning unit so that you have a good foundational knowledge of the topics that we're going to talk about. But also, it provides you flexibility with taking tests, dropping a lowest test score, if you've completed all of your Connect exercises for this course. And so if you've reached Learning Unit 5 and it's getting towards the end of the semester, buckle in, get through this learning unit, and we'll turn out well on the other side. So what are we going to be talking about? First of all, the steps in the accounting cycle, knowing those, being able to apply those. We also want to look at the differences between the major financial statements that we're going to have. It could be income statement, balance sheet, cash flow, all those types of things. Not only knowing the purpose of each one, but what information is going to be included on each statement and how those statements really work together, how they have a good flow to them. We also want to look at the accounting terms, right? Whether it's credits or debits or things like that. If you're a business management major, you're going to take 1211, you're going to take accounting 1212, you're going to have corporate finance as well. So being able to know what those terms are before you get into those specific classes. And then as we talked about with writing assignment 3, we want to be able to know, calculate, and understand the basic financial ratios that companies use to compare themselves, to analyze an industry, and for investment choices, how we can compare those choices as well, or for investment strategies. Characterize what is financial management and why it's going to be important. And then going along and hand in hand with that is going to be the types of budgets that are going to be out there. Master budget, cash flow budget, planning, things like that. We want to look at short-term financing sources versus long-term financing sources. If we need money to make payroll, where do we get that? If we need money to invest in the capital or plant or equipment, things like that, we're going to get those sources of money from 2 different places. So we want to look at the different sources and options that are going to be available for us from a business standpoint. And then lastly, describe the function of the security markets, making investments that are going to be out there, whether it's a 401k or Roth IRA or anything like that. We want to look at those different types of markets. Compare and contrast the differences between equity and debt types of financing. We can go all the way back to entrepreneurship with that. As you're starting a business, do you take out a loan from a bank to help you do it, or do you sell off parts of equity to get money in, but you just don't own part of the business? When we look at it in the big corporate atmosphere, equity financing would be IPOs, going public with the company, having stakeholders, shareholders. But when we look at debt financing, it could be taking bonds and loans and things like that. Things that we have to pay back over time. And then lastly, define the terms relating types of stocks and bonds. And so we're going to play that off in writing assignment 3 as well, understanding the differences, understanding the ramifications of each one of those choices, and building from there, building a plan strategy from there. So again, if numbers aren't your strong suit, what I would recommend is obviously get in touch with your Connect resources, exercises right away, highlight, go through the Learn Smart to make sure you have a good understanding of that terminology, and then ask your instructor, right? As we get into accounting, as we get into the financial statements or investment strategies, we want to have a good idea about what the terms are and how we apply those terms. Thanks for your time today, guys. Thanks for getting through your Learning Unit 5. And if you have any questions, ask your instructor. Thanks. Bye-bye.